r/ask Reddit. What's something people misunderstand way too often? How statistics work and how easily they can be manipulated into showing what someone wants it to show. Statistically, there are 2.267 popes per square kilometer living in Vatican City. That's the highest population density of any country in the world. Just because I don't want to spend all my free time with you doesn't mean I don't like you. I just enjoy being by myself sometimes. As an extension of this, just because I'm not currently doing something doesn't mean I want to do something with you. Tax brackets. All your pay is not in one bracket. Incognito mode. All it does is it deletes your search history and cookies when you close out. It doesn't hide your IP or delete downloads. People at my school depend on incognito thinking it gives them privacy from the IT department. Boy, are they wrong. I was one of them until I realized, was more careful, then watched the demise of those who didn't realize and got yelled at by IT. What scientific theory means and how it relates to actual practical uses of science. Laws describe and theories explain. Semicolons and commas. Semicolons are great. They combine separate but related clauses. Commas are useful in providing clarity, improving sentence flow, and creating lists. That taking a lighter to a sprinkler in a building will not actually cause all of the sprinklers to go off as they show in the movies. Only that one sprinkler will go off. Also, it will not be clean water. It will be black. Why is it black? It's not like those pipes have circulating water. It's just water that's been sitting there since it was installed. So it's the water along with whatever has corroded over the years. Low fat doesn't equal healthy. Low fat mayonnaise is not real mayonnaise. Disagreeing with someone isn't the same as disliking them. I really like having a beer with one of my friends for the argument. He's a super smart guy and very knowledgeable on heaps of subjects. It's awesome having my position challenged by someone whose opinion I respect. Sometimes he changes my position. Sometimes I change his. And sometimes we remain with our original position, but I can't remember a single instance of either of us getting angry with each other. That not everyone wants to talk all the time. If someone is sitting alone, they aren't always sad. They may be perfectly happy, just people watching. I constantly have people asking me, "Are you okay? You look so sad and you're sitting alone over here." Like, I'm fine. I just have resting sad face and I like being alone, LMAO. That cancer is an umbrella term and not a single illness with a single cause. If this was understood, then the whole big pharma has the cure for cancer conspiracy would hold much less sway over people. Loose versus loose. Whoa, I gotta take a deep breath. It's hard to breath. That it's would've, could've, should've, not would've, should've, could've. And its cousin. Case in point. Not case in point. Just in case you can't remember in the future. And now a case of beer is in mine. Thank you. I was convinced I was measured at a 34B for years and no matter what bra I tried it just never fit right. I got measured correctly. And guess what? 28D. Unfortunately this means 99% of places don't carry my size. Small band. Large cup is impossible to find for the reason you listed. That an argument and a discussion of opposing views are two different things. No, it isn't. Mistaking politeness for flirting for sure. Under that one, file. Mistaking friendly bosses co-workers for being your friends. How to actually think critically about a study says, insert claim here. 1. Start with looking up the actual study and seeing what it actually says. Usually it's not. Insert claim here. Study says that coffee prevents cancer. Actual study. Mouse tumor cells in petri dishes exposed to high dose of caffeine grew 14% slower than mouse tumor cells in petri dishes not exposed to caffeine. Mouse tumor cells in petri dishes exposed to medium doses of caffeine grew 4% quicker. All numbers have a 5% margin of error. What freedom of speech actually entails. The old saying fable doesn't say that there's a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. It says you're as likely to find a leprechaun's pot of gold as you are to find the end of the rainbow. It's a comparison of two separate things to show impossibility of a task, not saying that one literally exists alongside the other. Also, Noah only took 2 of every unclean animal, and 7 of every clean animal. The flu is not a gastrointestinal illness. Influenza is a respiratory virus. How about the flu and influenza are the same thing? I've got a friend who insists that they got really sick and it wasn't just the flu, it was influenza, as if that's somehow scarier and more serious. Like, that's literally what the flu is short for. You won't make less money by getting a raise. That's not how taxes work. Even more misunderstood is how income tax deductions work. How dangerous driving while really tired can be. Being behind the wheel of a 3,000-pound machine when you have trouble keeping your eyes open is extremely dangerous, even if you're completely sober. I made the mistake of driving on no sleep and ended up nodding off and waking up in a small ditch. Thankfully the small highway I was on was pretty empty, so I didn't end up hurting anybody, but it really opened my eyes just how dangerous it is. Introversion. Introverts are not misanthropes or shut-ins that hate being around people and hate talking. At least that's not how they are defined. Introversion means that you recharge by being alone. Conversely, extroverts recharge by being around people. There are introverts who are social butterflies, but they're introverts because their social battery runs out after so long and they need to relax by being alone. Point is, introversion equals antisocial or asocial. I bring it up because I'm a bit of a social butterfly, but at heart I'm an introvert and most people don't understand that. Also, for many introverts, it is not being around people necessarily that is draining. It is interaction. For instance, an introvert may be an excellent public speaker, or theatrical performer, or attend a crowded event, with no effect on their social battery, but when drawn into conversation the battery begins to drain. I'm generally a quiet introvert, so people assume I'm shy or have stage fright. Couldn't be further from the truth. The media intentionally appeals to your emotional bias to manipulate your opinions. So do politicians, religious leaders, sales personnel, etc. That your yearly raise is not actually a raise, instead an adjustment for inflation. If you're not getting a yearly raise, you're getting a yearly income cut. You can't pause an online game. Reddit gets it, mums don't. Bread is not good for ducks. 180 degrees versus 360 degrees and it annoys me every time. Silence doesn't necessarily mean agreement. Kindness doesn't necessarily mean that he's interested in you romantically. The meaning of the word theory. That's because theory legitimately has multiple definitions depending on context, and people confuse the general use definition, synonymous with conjecture, as applying to the much more rigid definition used in science and mathematics. Though less prevalent, it's equally annoying when others pretend that the latter definition is the only one that exists. Love. Love is about more than feelings, especially in a marriage. It's a commitment that one will continue to intentionally respect, protect, and value the other, despite the current status of one's feelings. My wife and I are looking at our 10th anniversary in the not too distant future. We married young but spent a lot of time learning about love and marriage from people much smarter than us. My feelings towards my wife are nothing like what they used to be. They're different, stronger, much closer. One of my favorite quotes: "Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like an earthquake and then subsides. And when it subsides you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have become so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any of us can convince ourselves we are. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Your mother and I had it. We had roots that grew towards each other underground. And when all the pretty blossom had fallen from our branches, we found that we were one tree and not two." From Captain Corelli's mandolin. Silicone and silicon are not the same thing. That you can handpick create statistics to prove any point. In addition, most statistics make a correlation between only a couple variables when there are often hundreds in play, which causes people to draw the wrong conclusions. Anything medical. As a healthcare professional, it can be interesting to hear a layman's explanation of an injury or a disease process. Shit gets wild. When the dictionary people include a new word, it's not because they think it's cool. It's because people use it in real life and some people need, you guessed it, a dictionary to understand what it means. So get mad at yourself when bling or whatever becomes a word because you people as a society started using it, not the dictionary employees as individuals. Correlation versus causation. Grammar and how percentages work. If something increases by 10% and then another 10% is added, that does not mean it's the original number plus 20%. It's the original number plus 10% plus 10% of the original number increased by 10%. Medical radiation versus nuclear meltdown radiation. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.